All right, everyone, get ready for a deep dive today. We're talking about crossing over, a new way to think about spiritual growth.
Oh, yeah. Crossing over.
We're basing this on a YouTube video by Aaron Abke.
Okay.
And, we hear about enlightenment all the time,
Yeah.
but crossing over just feels different, more relatable,
Yeah.
like something we can actually grasp.
I think he does a great job of kind of reframing it.
Yeah.
It's more of like a process
Exactly.
instead of like this big,
Like a far off
thing.
like a destination.
Right.
And I also love how he connects this idea to spiritual intelligence.
Yeah, I love that.
It gives us a way to kind of gauge where we're at on this journey. So I'm really excited to dive into all of this.
Yeah, me too.
So first off, what exactly is this whole crossing over thing?
Well, it's all about like shifting your perspective. It's based on this idea from Advaita Vedanta Hinduism.
Uh-huh.
And they talk about the 4 bodies of consciousness.
Okay, 4 bodies of consciousness. Now, that sounds a little out there.
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
Yeah. So basically, these 4 bodies represent different stages in the evolution of your sense of self.
Gotcha.
So the first one is the gross body.
Okay, grace body.
And that's like your starting point.
Okay.
This is where you mostly just identify with like your physical body,
Okay.
the physical world. You're really focused on like your senses and your desires.
So it's very basic level of awareness.
Right, exactly.
Just trying to survive, essentially.
Totally. And a lot of people stay at this level.
I can see that.
But then some people start to question things.
Right.
And they realize that their thoughts and beliefs actually have power.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And that's when you move into the subtle body.
The subtle body.
Yeah, that's the second stage.
Okay.
And that's where you start to see like how your mind is actually creating your reality.
So it's not just about like the things that happen to you, but it's about how you interpret them.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
So we go from this very basic physical awareness to realizing that, hey, our minds are actually shaping things.
Right.
What happens next?
So from there, you move into the causal body.
Causal body, okay.
This is where it gets really deep.
Okay.
You start to connect with like a sense of purpose
Okay.
that goes beyond just your physical and mental self.
Oh, so it's like spiritual level.
Yeah, exactly. You're tapping into like your soul.
Okay, so we've got the physical, the mental, and now we're talking about the spiritual.
Right. And then there's one more.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, the great causal body.
Okay, the great causal body. That sounds pretty epic.
It is. It's like imagine a drop of water in the ocean.
Okay.
The great causal body is that drop, realizing that it's not separate from the ocean at all.
It's all connected.
It's all one.
Wow.
It's pure consciousness.
So we go from like identifying with our physical body
Yeah.
to realizing the power of our minds,
Right.
then connecting with our soul,
Uh-huh.
and then ultimately merging with this universal consciousness.
That's the journey.
My mind is officially blown.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. And you know what's really cool is that he actually gives us like a roadmap.
A roadmap.
Yeah, he uses this thing called the spiritual intelligence chart
Oh, interesting.
or skew chart.
Okay, it's cute chart. I like that. So that's how we figure out where we are on this whole crossing over path.
Exactly. It gives us some tangible markers for each stage.
I'm all about tangible markers. Tell me more.
Let's dive into that SQ chart next.
Okay, can't wait.
So this SQ chart, it measures spiritual intelligence, like on a scale
Okay.
from 0 to like over 175.
Okay.
And each level kind of matches up with one of the stages of crossing over.
Okay, so how do we like know what level we're at? What are the signs?
Well, if you're, say, between 0 and 75, you're probably in that gross body stage.
Okay, gross body. So like what would that look like?
Well, think about it. Do you find yourself like blaming other people for your problems?
Maybe sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Or like getting caught up in drama or feeling like a victim?
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
So what if you start to, recognize those patterns? What's next?
Well, that recognition is actually the beginning of the shift to the subtle body,
Okay.
which is like 76 to 125 on the scale.
Gotcha.
And that's where you start to kind of wake up and realize you have more control
More control over what?
over your life, over your reality.
Okay.
You're not
Yeah.
just a puppet. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like empowering,
Yeah.
You realize you can actually shape things.
Exactly. But, it's not always easy.
What do you mean?
Well, there's this thing he talks about, the spiritual ego.
Spiritual ego.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of contradictory.
It is, kinda. It's
Yeah.
that part of us that wants to, like, be seen as spiritual.
Oh, I
Like,
see.
oh, look how evolved I am.
Right, right.
And it can actually get in the way.
So it's like another form of ego, even though you're trying to, transcend ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's tricky.
It is.
So what happens when you move past that? What's the next level?
The causal body.
Causal body. Okay.
That's like 125 to 175.
Okay.
And that's about, like, letting go of material desires.
So you're not so focused on like getting stuff,
Right. You're more focused on your purpose.
your soul's purpose.
Exactly.
Okay, and this is also where karma comes in, right?
Yeah, he talks a lot about karma at this stage.
So it's like understanding that your actions have consequences.
Yeah, cause and effect.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the final stage,
The great causal body.
the great causal body, and that's like off the charts.
Off the charts.
Okay, so pure consciousness, oneness,
Yeah.
all that. But I gotta ask, if crossing over is about recognizing our connection to the one mind, to this, universal consciousness,
Yeah,
why is there so much like suffering in the world?
that's a great question.
Shouldn't we all be experiencing like this blissful unity if we're all connected?
Well, that's what's so interesting about what he says.
Okay, what does he say?
He says negativity and suffering, they're not, like, caused by some evil force.
Okay.
They come from a lack of awareness of the one mind.
So it's like we're forgetting our connection.
Exactly. It's like we're all cells in the same body, but some of us have forgotten that.
Okay, and that's what leads to all the problems.
Yeah, because when we forget, we act in ways that hurt each other.
So it's like we're fighting ourselves.
Basically.
Wow, that's a powerful way to look at it. And he uses this metaphor of a shadow, right?
He does.
What's that about?
Well, a shadow isn't like a thing itself.
Mhm.
It's just the absence of light. And negativity, it's like that. It's not some evil force. It's the absence of, love.
Okay, so it's like the absence of connection to the one mind.
Right.
And that's what creates suffering.
Exactly.
So does that mean we should just like ignore the negativity?
No, not ignore it,
Okay.
but understand.
Okay, I understand it. So what do we do about it?
Well, he says it's not about fighting negativity.
Okay, so what is it about?
It's about recognizing that the people who are causing suffering, they're often hurting themselves.
Okay.
They're acting from a place of, pain and fear.
So it's like they've forgotten their connection too.
Exactly.
Okay, so what can we do? Like how do we help?
Well, that's where our own crossing over comes in.
Okay.
The more we embody, love and compassion,
Yeah.
the more we radiate that out into the world.
So it's like we become examples.
Yeah, like little beacons of light.
I like that.
And it doesn't have to be like this big grand thing. It could just be small acts of kindness.
Okay, so like choosing to be kind even when it's hard.
Exactly.
Okay, that feels doable.
It is.
This is all making so much sense now. It's
Yeah.
not about, becoming perfect.
No.
It's about recognizing our connection and, choosing love,
Yeah,
even amidst all the chaos.
exactly. And, what's amazing is as we do that, our own lives change too.
In what way?
Well, we experience more peace,
Okay.
more joy.
More fulfillment.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
This is really inspiring. But I gotta be honest, I'm still wondering, like, how do I actually make this happen in my life?
That's a great question.
It's one thing to talk about it, but how do I actually, like, live it?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about next.
Okay, perfect.
We're going to dive into some practical steps we can take to actually start crossing over.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, so we've talked about the 4 bodies, the SQ chart, that whole shadow thing.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
It's a lot, but, at the end of the day, how do we actually cross over? Like, what can we do?
Well, remember that whirlpool.
Yeah.
We're already part of the one mind. It's about realizing that.
Okay, so it's not about, like, becoming something new.
Right. It's more about removing the things that are blocking us from seeing it.
The mental blocks, emotional blocks, all that.
Yeah, all of that. And he actually gives some great tips for, like, how to do that.
Oh, okay, good. Any tips?
Yeah. One of the big ones is mindfulness.
Mindfulness, okay.
Yeah, like paying attention to the present moment
Okay.
without judging it, just noticing your thoughts and feelings.
So instead of being, like, swept away by them, you're just observing them.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be helpful, especially if you're, at that gross body level where you're just reacting to everything.
Yeah, mindfulness helps you step back from that.
But, it's hard to be mindful. Like, our minds are all over the place.
Yeah, it's a practice.
Any advice for someone who's, like, terrible at mindfulness?
Don't try to force it.
Okay.
Just be curious about your thoughts.
Oh, like befriend the monkey mind.
Exactly. And, he actually has a really cool way of talking about meditation, too.
Oh, okay.
And he calls it unidentifying.
Unidentifying.
Yeah, like realizing that you are not your thoughts.
Okay.
You're the awareness behind them.
Okay, so you're not getting caught up in the content.
Right. You're tapping into something deeper.
That makes a lot of sense. But, okay, how do we know if we're actually, like, making progress on this crossing over thing?
Well, he says one sign is you'll have fewer negative emotions.
Like less anger, less fear,
Yeah.
more peace.
More peace, more joy.
Okay, so your baseline just shifts.
Yeah. You're less reactive.
And what else?
You feel more connected to other people.
Okay, like you see the unity instead of the separation.
Exactly.
This is all really resonating with me, and it just feels so hopeful.
Yeah, it's empowering. And remember, it's a journey.
Not a destination.
Not a destination.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Okay, no pressure to be perfect.
No pressure. Just keep practicing.
This has been an amazing deep dive. Really insightful.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on spiritual growth. And what I love is that it's something everyone can do.
Absolutely.
It's not just for like spiritual gurus or whatever.
It's for everyone.
Yeah. So as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this. What if the world we all dream of, the one with peace and understanding and connection, what if it's not some impossible dream?
Yeah.
What if it's actually within reach? Like, what if we can create that world together?
I think we can.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, everyone.